Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connecticut at your service. My name is Carmen Nieves, and I serve as your host. And we come to you live each Tuesday at 6:30, where we feature individuals in our community that are making a difference through their work and how they give back and how they empower other people. Today, like every other Tuesday, I have an amazing couple that's here. It's a husband and wife, dynamic duo. They own a distillery that they developed and everything themselves called Fifth State Distillery, and I want to welcome Bridget and Rob to the show. How are you guys?
We're great. Thanks for having us.
Are you kidding? I've been to your location, and it is one of those just awesome gems, and I can't wait for you to tell us a little bit about it. So tell us, what is Fifth State Distillery? And most of all, your kind of like starting up story, so please share that.
Good. Let me handle our origin of the name. Fifth State refers to Connecticut. We were the fifth state to join the Union in 1788. Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776. The states had to ratify joining the Union because they had to pony up resources, which basically meant men at the time for a common defense. So the internet was incredibly slow back then, so it took a long time to get the word out. And so it took from 12 years for us to join. Delaware was the first state. We were the fifth state. We're only in Connecticut.
Right here in Bridgeport.
We are out of Bridgeport, have always been for the last 10 years.
I bet you get asked this question, why Bridgeport?
It was actually a very easy decision. We live close in the town next door, and it's an old manufacturing town. So they have all the infrastructure that we need. They have the power, they have the water, they have the light manufacturing that we need that other bedroom communities might not have. But it had everything we needed, and they were primed and ready for us.
Okay, I'm going to take the counterpoint to this. Basically, for me, it meant a reverse commute, which was really good. I see everyone trying to get to Stanford as I'm coming the other way, so that's wonderful. And we actually looked at every planning and zoning book of every major city in the state of Connecticut, and Bridgeport on page 988 said, "and distilling." So it took us a year to get our federal permit approved. I mean, and by a year, I mean 365 days. So they ask you to put your equipment in the plant before you sign your application, before you put your application in. And then it took a year, and then the state of Connecticut has to approve you. That was another 6 months. So we knew it was going to take a long time, so we wanted to be in a place where it was kind of where we didn't need a special permit. In Bridgeport, it was allowed.
So Bridget, share with me kind of how this business got started, because your hubby didn't come from distillery. He's an engineer, but he's done a ton of stuff, right? So tell me a little bit. He could tell his own story, but I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, he's a chemical engineer by trade. So he has spent many years in manufacturing, in mining and metals companies, oil and gas, then he did the banking side of it, and he ended up at GE here, started in Bridgeport actually, but lots of different locations here in the state of Connecticut, and had a really nice 20-year career with them. And then at some point you have to figure out what you want to do with the knowledge that you have, and he was very experienced in re-engineering plants around the world with his job at GE. So he essentially built our plant. He procured all the equipment. He didn't build the equipment, but he put it all together, made the cooling systems, the heating systems, got everything put together.
We're gonna. I thank you for our crew for putting up the website, because I had to say, you guys have got to check out this website. I was sharing with them before the show that I love that on one of the tabs on the website, it really has like fun drinks that you can make, because everything we do on the show is really about engaging our audience, entertaining our audience, and empowering them. So how fun it is to take something that is homegrown right here in Bridgeport. Make it your own, have some fun with it. So tell me a little bit about you building this whole thing kind of yourself.
Well, thank you for saying all that. We like to think that we do have some of the best flavors in the state of Connecticut. When we started 8-9 years ago, we started with 3 products. Today we have 16, and almost to the extent we confuse people sometimes, because they'll try 2 or 3 like those, and then try 5 or 6 like those. And by the time they get down to 16, they've liked everything.
I tell you, and the place is so awesome. And I think that one of the things that I celebrate about, and we talked a little bit about this about the show, is that you're very intentional about things in our state, right? So what you buy, the ingredients you use, they're all from Connecticut.
Yes, so we use 100% Connecticut corn. It's non-GMO corn. We buy it from a farm, up in northern Connecticut where they have many, many fields. They've turned some of those tobacco fields into corn fields just because the industries have changed. And they supply us and have for 8 years we buy it in 1-ton tote bags. We'll buy 10 tons at a time. And,
I grew up
really
on
fun.
a farm in Connecticut, so we like supporting Connecticut farmers.
Yeah.
It's tough to make a living as a farmer in Connecticut between the cost of everything, short growing season, rocks, hills.
But anything that we can use from the state, we do. I mean, whether it's our packaging, bottling, labeling, our other employees that we use for graphics and design and marketing, everybody's local.
Our maple comes out of a farm in Canton?
In Pomfret,
Pomfret,
Connecticut.
thank you.
Yeah.
And it's...
the guy makes it, it's really cool to go
There's
watch him,
something to be
right?
said about being like a true stakeholder.
Yeah.
Because when you succeed, everybody who's in your circle succeeds.
Yes.
So you mentioned your team. So I want to put up the slide that has your team on it, because actually the company's run by 3 of you, right?
Yes.
Well,
So
no,
this is
one.
a little bit about Fifth State Distillery, and this is the picture that I was sharing of Rob being kind of like the chemist, the information that he put together in the bottles. So I wanted to show the picture of the team. That's you, Rob, Bridget, and your son, correct?
Yep, ours.
And you said that your team you have 3 part-timers and you 3.
Yes.
So tell me how that works, because you have 2 children, right?
We have
Yes, we have 2
believe so.
children. Only one's in our business. We have a daughter who lives in the city, so but we see her often. So Rob's our distiller. He's our chemical engineer. He does all the processes. He runs the distillery with our son Sam. He's 32. He's learning the business.
I work with him 6 days,
From
6.5
his
days
dad.
a week.
He's
and
learning how to distill. He's learning all the operations of it.
teaching him the craft.
Yeah, and
Literally, right?
I don't work at the distillery except for on Saturdays. I'm there when the public comes. Otherwise, I do sales and marketing and relationships and events. So I'm out. I'm on the road all the time.
And that's how we get along so well, because we only meet up at the end of the
That's one of the questions that I'm
day.
going to ask
Yes.
you in just a second. But I do want to say that the business is 100% owned by you.
Yes.
And you guys are co-founders and a team, and that's why I had
Yes.
to wear my Strong Women t-shirt today
That's
to have
right.
you on the shirt. Because I think it's so awesome, not
Yeah.
only when women are in non-traditional occupations. I just think that rocks. I just think that rocks.
She's a Southern woman, so there's a thin, pretty veneer on the outside, but there's a Rottweiler inside.
So I wanted to, when you were talking about not only your team, but you were talking about, let's talk a little bit about, you were talking about the distillery and you mentioned about the experiences.
Yes.
I happen to be part of that, not to the full extent, but where all of us are in the UB Accelerator program, and we had an opportunity to go visit the distillery, and I just have to say, like I called my daughter from the location and be like, you're getting married, you should do your like bridal party or whatever here, because I thought it was just wonderful. Share with what they would get out of that experience, because I just thought it was I just loved it.
Here, I'll start, and then
Okay.
you can sweep.
I love when you guys bounce off of each other. That's a question I'm going to ask you.
Well, you don't know how often my legs are being hit under the table here.
You guys are so funny.
So yeah, you can go to a liquor store and buy alcohol, but you can also come to the distillery and have an experience. So when we bring people in, we have little tapas style cocktails that highlight 4 or 5 of them that highlight each of the products some of the products that we make, and we keep rotating through that. Then we do a little history of alcohol in Connecticut, and then I take people down the processing line, and as we walk down the processing line, they taste the product at that point, so they can see how the flavor profiles progress as it goes through each of the different phases, the mashing, fermentation, and distillation process. So
Yeah,
I think people really like the educational part of it
and he stands up on a thing and he waves his arms and he tells story and he's funny. I kept looking at you and I was like, he's so funny. I just think it's an experience that you have got to go and see. And I think it starts back up in September, right?
In September.
It's a little hot in the distillery right now. The distillery goes up about 25 degrees when the machines are on.
But as you can tell, he's very passionate about what he does. So that really, I think, is people understand that when they're there. So they just, even though they might walk in and go, well, it's just a manufacturing plant, with
but I don't
concrete
think most
floors.
people know how things are made.
Right.
And
or that you're 100% there, because we talked about that a lot of your client base comes outside of the city.
Mm-hmm. They come from all over.
And that means that you're one of those untapped gems, because I drove by and I knew that you were on Asylum Street, but I didn't know. And then when you walk in, it's got like a little sitting area. It's got like 2 bars. It has like different drinks. So you mentioned that you make 16 different products. So it's gin, right?
Gin, whiskeys, and vodkas. And our newest is the ready-to-drink cocktails, which are profiled in front of me.
So tell us what these are, and you can, I don't know if it's right to left or left to right for me, but talk about the label color and tell me what it is.
Do you want to do it? You go ahead.
So our 3 ready-to-drink products, we brought them out starting in February. The first one is in the middle. It's our espresso martini.
So coffee.
Yes.
So it's like a little something with your coffee.
Yes,
Yeah,
with a base of rum, which is it's different. A lot of people just make it with vodka, but rum gives it a nice viscosity. It's a little thicker than vodka is. So it just tastes yummy, and we use a locally roasted espresso bean from a company in Fairfield and Westport, and we will keep kind of rotating our roasters just to give other people a chance to come in and be part of something.
So to puff out our chest a little bit, we just won a well, come on.
Yeah, don't do that.
We just got a double gold for our espresso martini in the oldest, biggest spirits contest on the planet. Wow. In the most competitive category, which is the ready to drink. So and
this is, how new is this product?
Espresso came out in February
of this year. And you've already gotten an award for it.
Yes.
That goes to say, like, you guys have got to check out this place. I think it's the experience that they want to see, because I think once they taste it, love it, they become, somebody that is a follower.
The hardest part about a customer is when they walk in the liquor store is they already know what they want. They already know what brand they want. They're just going to go and they're going to buy it. And the hardest thing to do is to get them to look elsewhere and to try something new. So we do a lot of in-store tastings, just to catch those people who are like, well, I want a bottle of vodka and I know what I want, but this is local and it's made with local grains. Let's try this.
And local business that lives in Connecticut, buys from Connecticut, distills in Connecticut.
So educating, the public of who we are is, it's a huge mission of ours.
So if a restaurant or one of the local package stores wanted to, I wouldn't say package store, it would have to be like a My phone doesn't ring. Oh my God! I just heard the sound on. If they wanted to carry it,
Yes.
What do? Do they just
They
go
call
on the
me.
website? Okay.
Yep, go on the website. My phone is there. My email is there.
The direct email.
A direct
Because
email.
I did see it, so
and,
it's not like contact the website.
and
it's
my
on the
direct
phone.
phone number too.
And your direct phone number.
So
I
you
saw
can
it.
text
and
me.
we put it on our.
Yes.
And our son will deliver it
Exactly.
anywhere in the state.
For those of you that are just tuning in to watch, we are here with Rob and Bridget from Fifth State Distillery. That's right here in Bridgeport. We're a live show, so if you guys wanted to call in right now, what you tuned into is that they were sharing their ready-to-drink new product that they have, and we went over the espresso coffee one. So share with me some of the other ones that you have here.
So the other one with the light blue label on it is called a Bee's Knees, and it is it's a prohibition cocktail, so it's a throwback. A lot of people don't know what it is, so it's made with our passion gin. So it's our gin that has the addition of distilled passion fruit in it, which is really fun, and lemon and honey. So our passion gin just won a gold medal also, so that's pretty cool. It was not ready for medal season yet, so we'll wait till next year. But that's a light summer drink that even if you're not a gin drinker, the complexity of all the flavors in there make it delicious.
Oh,
so that's
awesome.
really fun.
And then the last one?
And then the last one is our upcoming release product. So coming out in the next few weeks, we'll have, the big labels on them. It is a chocolate old fashioned. So it's also a ready to drink
Chocolate,
cocktail.
Coffee, passion fruit.
Whiskey, chocolate whiskey and bitters. So,
Oh, that is
yes,
amazing.
exactly.
So in case we get a call, I just wanted to just go over. So one of the ways that your business gives back to the community is that you guys are heavily involved in the chambers, right? And we talked a little bit about how networking is really kind of the best way to grow your business.
Absolutely.
And see, I figured we were going to have a call, so hold that thought.
Okay.
Don't let me forget it.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Connecticut at your service. Do you have a question for our guest?
Yes, I love all of the drinks that you guys mentioned, but I was wondering what your favorite ones are, since you guys are the creators of them.
Great question. And they're both laughing. Do you see that? Okay.
Well, it's the impossible question.
Right. What's our favorite child? Right.
I can actually tell
it's a-
you that.
No.
That's an easier question, much easier. But, yeah, to me, variety is the spice of life. You need to, if you drink anything too much, it becomes boring. And in fact, the spirits business is highly seasonal. It's in the fall, people like whiskey. In the summer, there's less spirits drank, maybe more gin, but people tend to drink white wine and beer. So we do a huge percentage of our sales in the cold months, and largely between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then we have Dryuary.
Dryuary?
Yeah, people are paying off their Visa cards, going to the gym, and doing all the things there.
And that might be across businesses, not just a distillery.
Right, exactly.
So, caller, you heard that right? They have no favorite. They love all their children.
But actually, the new ready-to-drinks really are fun. We taste a lot of people on them. We get, for me, the best response is wow, and we get a lot of wows.
So, thank you, caller. Did you have another question?
That was all, thank you.
All right, thank you. So, before we get to the question, could you just share with us your website and a good phone number to reach you guys?
Yes, so the website is just our name, Fifth State Distillery, all spelled out.com. And the phone number is my cell, 203-258-3422.
And that's because she works there 1 day a week. He runs the show the rest of the time. So we were talking a little bit about how you give back to the community, and we were saying how you're really involved in like the chambers. Tell me a little bit about that. And what's the benefit that you see to belonging to a chamber? Because a lot of people don't, like more businesses should.
Right, well, it's the networking. I mean, we've met just, people in adjunct businesses, whether they're printers or bottlers or coffee roasters,
It's important to
labelers.
support local.
Yeah, and
that's
I've
how
met
you
a
meet.
lot of businesses, restaurants, clubs, people. It might not be the exact business that I'm being connected with, but they have an idea and they connect me. So it's, just minor degrees of separation is what it's all about.
And that's the truth, because we were at your event with our class at UB.
Yes.
And we were like, we already know 3 things, three events we want to do here. Like Jen and I were like talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And even Natalie, who's been on our show as well, that she's like a master networker. So what are some of the things that you guys, because you said you donate a lot of your time to the chamber. What are some of the things that you do that could be kind of like a good opportunity for other small businesses that maybe want to get involved in a chamber? What are some of the volunteer things you guys have done?
Well, there's a lot of volunteer that you can do. We usually are involved with the fundraising for them. So every chamber will have their big fundraiser of the year, and then they might have a golf tournament sponsoring this thing, or a dinner sponsoring something else. So we tend to work with them, to use our spirits, and it's good for them. They get product donation, but it also makes the awareness for us, and that's my job, is to make people aware of our little
brand ambassador.
I'm my own brand ambassador, exactly. So it educates people, and they're excited to learn about things.
Entertains.
And he's an entertainer.
And I firmly believe if we can get our product in people's mouths, they'll enjoy it and buy it.
And right here in Bridgeport, this is an opportunity
Yeah.
that, manufacturing is not back the way that it was, and we were talking about how much the landscape of our city has changed. But there are efforts being done to to help you. I saw that
Financial incentives.
you guys had gotten some money from the state, right, to help you with your business. You built it. You didn't build the machines out of there, but it's a site. You've got to go and just see it. I don't really push, but when I talk about that this is an experience, right here in Bridgeport, they're located on the east side of Bridgeport.
We're on Asylum Street.
On Asylum Street.
And
I wonder.
we used to be named Asylum Distillery, and that was we decided, we actually had 2 names. We had Asylum and Fifth State, depending on the product. And when we rebranded our labels 3 or 4 years ago, we decided to go exclusively with Fifth State, because it more embraces who we are.
And it tells the story, and it gives to your story.
We're just in Connecticut.
You coming up. So we were talking about doing business together, being ambassadors together. What I've had other businesses that are husband and wife run. So I would love to hear your advice about partnership. And you guys have been together over 35 years, right?
Yes. Yep.
Together. So working together, married together, children together, working together. Tell me the secret to that success.
Well,
saying yes.
Okay.
Is it pretty much that easy?
Our strengths are different, and there's a lot of things he does I don't want to touch. Same with me. I'm really good at a lot of different things that it's not his forte. So we try to stay in our own lanes, and sometimes we have to say, hey, it's my lane, get out of there. But and then the other thing, as a small business person, you have to understand is that you have to hire other people to help you, like the CPAs and the bookkeeper. I'm not the numbers person. He could do it, but he doesn't have any time. So you have to know when to bring in the specialists to get their own lane.
And I think and people they've said that one of the things that they always need help in is the finances and their marketing. So you're right on line with that, and having people help you, because sometimes you can't do everything, but the stronger your company is branded, the stronger your finances are. It actually opens doors for you to get other financing and other opportunities that you can if you're not ready. What is some advice that you guys would give a small business regardless of what lane they're in or what they do?
Along the lines of what we're discussing. If you're a small business person, you want to be in control because your reputation, everything's on the line for you. So you want that control, but you have to give it up to people who have the expertise. Whether it's an accountant, a marketing person, and it's really tough for me. I will admit it, but my lane is flavors. That's why I kick my feet out of bed in the morning. That's what gets me excited. That's what I dream about.
Having met you guys, I get that. I really, really do get that. And you guys have this really fun, awesome balance that you guys, because even in class, you guys are just hysterical. I think you're more laid back, but he's definitely more of like a character, which I think adds to the experience that people would want.
Right.
We drink for a living. We got the best job in the world.
Don't make me choke over here.
Yes, exactly.
So tell me about your son joining the business, because the business is relatively new. So you've accomplished a lot in really like a short amount of time. Not only building, being in Bridgeport, getting awards and people saying you guys are just fantastic, but you've accomplished a lot in a relatively short amount of time. So tell me the coming up story of how your son joined the business.
The trick is to have a little bit of fun. It is family, and we do work together 6 days a week, and we haven't killed each other. But it's just working in close contact. It's tough because you have to go home together and put your arms around each other.
But he really wanted to learn.
That's the whole trick. Keep learning, keep doing new stuff.
Rob keeps learning. He is a voracious reader, and he will find recipes. That's how one of our products got done, the wonderful water. It was a recipe that he found.
From 1800.
And he just recreated it.
Read, research. We always think we're so smart because we have the fancy cell phones and everything else. The folks back 200 years ago were really smart because their life depended on it. So if it made it to a book, it's probably worth reading.
Yeah. So we are wrapping up on time, but I want to thank Rob and Bridget Schulten from Fifth State Distillery. You guys have been just amazing guests. Any last words of how can people reach you, find your product? Fifth State.
Yep, our website is the best way to do it. So it's very easy. It's just our name all written out. We are on social media. We love it when people tag us with cocktails that they've made and places they've seen us. The word just really helps.
And the distillery doors are always open, but the tours are back on at the end of September after the first cold snap.
And they can contact you on your website to schedule those with a highly
Absolutely. Yep.
So folks, I can't even tell you what a fun interview this is, and I've experienced going to the distillery, and it's just such an experience with drums and just all the metal and all the stuff. Everything is bought here in Connecticut, all the stuff that they do. I want to invite you to come back next week where we're going to join us with another guest where we look to entertain, empower, and engage you in the amazing people in this community, the businesses that they run. Make sure that you find us on YouTube, our Soundview social media page, our Facebook page, and make sure that if you want to get on, you can call 345-0100. We'll see you next time.